But hi, everybody. I'll say this like 5 times, but welcome to the live in person PCC drop-in, billing drop-in. Billing drop-in, billing. Let's try to say that 10 times fast. I'm Owen. If you've attended a couple of virtual ones, you probably have seen me and my Lego wall behind me. This is our fantastic crew. I will introduce everybody in a second. But yeah, we may as well get started. We're a minute early, but there's nothing wrong with that. So, welcome to the crew. We have, I'm going to go in order of people and not in order of what's on screen. We have Justin, who is one of our EDI masterminds. No, oh, give yourself more credit, Justin. Yeah, and then we have Noah Samville Perry. He's newer to the team. He's one of our SMEs and support specialists, right?
I don't know about the SME part, but definitely support specialist.
He's a support specialist for the Get Paid team. This is Kelsey. Kelsey is our newest BA. She's on our development team. She has also hosted a couple of the billing drop-ins. This is Phil. Phil is another one of our EDI masterminds, but he is also one of our operations specialists. And he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that is very beneficial to all of you. This is Michael Stein. Michael Stein is our designer. He is making sure everything looks and functions the way that it should, the right workflows. Douglas is our educational content creator. Yes, and if you've ever watched a video on learn.ppcc.com, probably it was Douglas's voice for the most part, but also Douglas is responsible for all of that stuff and making sure that there's educational content for everybody out there. We have Jay Schuster. I don't really know what he does. No. No, Jay is...
I'm a back-end developer.
Jay is one of our back-end developers. Jay, a created partner. We have Ben, who is one of our consultants and SMEs, and I could look at the thing, but oh my God, whoa, I got it spot on, SME and consultant. Wow, look at me. And if you've had a support call with somebody, it might have been Ben. He's real good at what he does. We have Jan, who is our HR ops person. Also, some of you may know her as a CPC. She is real good with those codes. We have Brian Kennedy. So it's like I should have practiced this. He is an application specialist, and also he is our other CPC, recently certified. Good job, Brian Kennedy. And he has probably helped a lot of you on the phone as well. Last but certainly not least, well, actually second to last, is Doug Brasso. He works with our new clients now. He's our implementation specialist. He helps get people set up and configured. And you've probably had a support call or visit with him in the past as well. Last but not least now, we have Kristen Ryan. She is a former BA, but now project manager for the team. I had to remember what your new title was. I'm Owen, Quality Assurance Analyst, and I will be moderating today's session, so I'm going to be running around with a microphone so that everybody can be heard. This panel of folks knows just about everything about PCC billing, I mean, combined, and probably even more. So now is your time to ask them questions. Now is your time to ask each other questions. I put down my clicker. This is why I shouldn't. So our vision as a team is to make sure that every pediatrician gets paid the maximum payment for every service rendered with the minimal administrative effort. We want to make it easier for our docs to get paid for what they do, make it easier for those of you who are out there collecting money from insurance payers to be able to do that easier. For those of you who have not been a part of a drop-in, this is the premise. It's your time. We have a couple agenda items that we want to bring up and talk with you guys, but it is always your time first. So if you have burning questions, if you have thoughts and feedback on new features or upcoming features or whatever, we are all ears. We're super, super happy to be here in person, and it kind of makes these discussions a little bit more lively and a little bit more fun because we can see you and talk to you, and I can walk over to you and give you a hug if you say something real good. Um, Yes, and I'm gonna walk over to you with a microphone and I'm gonna stick it in your face so that you can ask a question out loud instead of just hiding and typing in the chat, which, by the way, I was asked to put in a little bit of a plug that if you do join us virtually, feel free to turn on your camera and turn on your microphone. And yes, I'm still talking to the people in the room. On our other drop-ins throughout the year, we don't see a lot of faces. We don't hear a lot of voices. There was one particular person, and I won't name names. When I saw her here, I had never met in person, but I asked to give her a hug because she's one of the people that always turns on her mic and camera to ask a question. We love seeing and hearing you guys. So that's why we're thrilled to have you in person. The other thing that is really useful is if, like, when you ask a question, for those of you who are asking virtually, it's really, really useful if you say what practice you're coming from and what state you're in. Because a lot of, as we know, a lot of payer stuff can be regional. And also folks who are here, if you want to say like, oh, hi, we're from Oklahoma or whatever, wherever you're from, that's really, really useful. Because one of the other really incredible things about the billing drop-in is having other clients, or, it's like having you guys talk to each other. Because you guys are on the front line. You are the ones that are actually getting messages back from payers or sending out bills to patients, so you know better than even we do sometimes in that front. We have some topics. Obviously, we put your questions first, so if you want to ask questions, feel free to raise your hand whenever. We have a little bit of info surrounding obesity guidelines, coding update, Medicaid disenrollment, Medicaid MCO pay and chase denials rules, and development show and tell. We have updates to insurance payment posting, and we would love to show them to you guys and get feedback. That's one of the most exciting things for us, and we hope it's really exciting for you too. I know that this is gonna be awkward until we get the ball rolling, but does anybody have a question that they wanna raise their hand and ask? Oh, I'm gonna go to the in-person first. Hold on. Hello, who are you? Where are you from?
I'm Amanda with Cypress Pediatrics in Louisiana. So my question is we for some time did not have place of service 10 in for telehealth. Blue Cross Blue Shield, of course, only accepts place of service 10. So I have a lot of claims that are sitting in OOPS that need to be corrected. How do I change that place of service from a 2 to 10 in OOPS?
First question.
Yeah, Ben's gonna use the microphone. Come on, Ben, we got it for everybody. Yeah, they need to be able to hear you.
So my first question is, in the place of service table in your system, have you already added an entry that has 10?
Yes.
Okay. So if you already have both a 10 and a 2 in there, then if you go into OOPS and you use your F5 key for your visit status, the last page of that, if it has multiple pages, well, it will always have multiple, but sometimes it can have more than 2 depending on how many lines you've got, right? So the last page of that, the same place where you would put in like your corrected claim number, there's a place where you can change place of service.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Of course, we remember the finicky 210 situation. It's so much fun. If we don't have any other in the room questions, I'm gonna go to Kristen. Oh, we do.
Hey, Ben. So my name is Naira. I'm with Piedmont Pediatrics in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a question, it's probably for the CPCs maybe. Do you guys have any insight or information around coding reimbursement policies for allergy testing and allergy shots? Well, more so allergy serum, making the serum for allergy. Like there are certain codes for those that we bill out, and some payers, they are now rejecting a lot of those claims because apparently there are a lot of rules that have just changed for allergy services. So I wasn't sure if you guys have any information or insight around allergy, immunology.
Why did you?
I handed it to you and said live.
Live. I do not, that is not a thing I have. Yeah, I'm making sure Brian doesn't either. As far as payment and we'll be clear, you're gonna hear us be really picky about calling it payment and not reimbursement, because you all deserve to get paid for the things that you do. Your reimbursement would be if you laid something out and, you know, you got the receipts, you send them the receipts, they give you the match. No, you all give yourselves away until they pay you. So we're kind of particular about that, and that's the reason why, just some background. So payment, no. All that to say that payer payment rules are exactly that. Those are the things that are gonna be according to whatever reason the payer is making those changes, and no matter the specialty. If I understand the nature of your question, for a particular subspecialty, would there be different payment rates for services?
Well, payment like requirements. So the patients, their insurance companies, they pay for services for these services, and they are allowed to, they reimburse for these services, but we often get responses back stating that, hey, this claim is on hold, or we're not gonna process until we need additional information, and we've redacted our documentation, all our forms, like we've changed that so many times, and they're still refusing to, I mean, some of them are, but some of them are just like United Healthcare and Aetna, I believe. They're giving us a hard time, like a runaround. So I went on the AAII website just to get some information in terms of what other allergists are doing. And a lot of them, they're having to change like their documentation. So I wasn't sure if you had any like additional insight on documentation for.
Yeah, I don't.
that.
Are there any audiologist billers in the room? Does anybody have that subspecialty in their office? I see someone reluctant to admit it. Oh, allergy. Allergy. I misunderstood you entirely. Allergy. Okay.
Allergy, yeah.
We like experience.
Yeah, it's the serum itself. So allergy testing is fine. Like they're processing that fine. But it's the serum. So like Medicare, they have like their own rules against commercial. Yep.
This mic. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yep. So it's the
Yeah, the
it's
people
the
online
the serum.
Okay, so one tip I would have is never ever bill serum on the same day as any other service.
Right. Yep.
So
we
never
always
ever do that. There are some payers, United Healthcare being one, that you can only bill so many units. So if you go over those units, and the guidelines are on their website, they're actually really good. They will just not pay anything.
Yeah.
And then also, a lot of them are gonna require documentation, so you just have to send in the documents. You wanna send in your serum prescription, so exactly what's in your serum, how many units, you know, what was made, what date it was made, and you may have to split it up between days, because,
Dates. Yeah.
yeah, that's like the best advice I have, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I'm
Thank you.
happy to answer, like, find out things too.
One more from y'all.
So I kind of asked this earlier in another class, and I'm not too sure if anyone can answer this. So my question is, you know how you all have it where we can batch the claims out now in EHR, right? So I just had the first incident where the COVID vaccine paid, and but there was an office visit line that just needed a modifier. I knew it missed or whatever because it bundled. But when I tried to send it out through your batch EHR, it came back with an error saying invalid code for the COVID, but it already paid. So, and it's a corrected claim. I guess my question is how to get around that with your new EHR batching. What would be that issue?
The judges need some time to think on this one. There's another microphone. Oh, you guys have one. Okay.
That one sounds like an example. We'd need to take a look at the example, because I'm having trouble. Yeah, because if it was already paid, I'm not sure what error we're getting around.
Yeah, because it literally just happened right before we came. So like the Thursday before. So I'm going,
so the-
wait, why did the error? Because the error came up on the batch side
Okay.
as, checking it. So when I went to the oops side to look, and I'm going, oh, wait, the COVID line paid. I'm just fixing the office visit level line to send back out. So I'm going, but if I send it back out, your error is still going to be there. But the line item paid, so it kind of threw me off.
Yes, see us later for some in-depth research on your issue. We're curious, and we don't want anyone else to struggle with this, so we want to know what's happening. So, yeah. Cool. We'll get into it.
But they said that the EHR, the new EHR side, the error is from them, not the insurance.
As in
So you see what I'm saying?
pre-scrubbing,
It's not
yeah.
the clearinghouse rejection. It's the batch side EHR rejection.
Did you put the COVID shot after it paid to patient?
No, because it paid. Nothing's over to patient, no nothing.
So it's not looking to insurance. You see what I'm saying?
Right, it's not too personal or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely paid off. The line item is paid.
Maybe she's
It's
done.
like the
I don't know.
072A, I want to say. Or 0-
Yeah, hold on. Kristen has a question. You've caused quite a stir in the room.
Wait, sorry, I have one more.
Oh.
And
All
for
right.
those of you who can't see at home, Brian is now sitting and resolving this issue as we speak, so maybe we'll have some more updates in a second.
Okay, here's my question, and then I have one from the chat. Raise your hand if you've never been to a billing drop-in.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Nice.
So this is what happens on the regular.
Yeah.
Support person jumps on and looks stuff up while Jan and Brian do, coding research. We just do all sorts of stuff. It's a mishmash, and I've never had anyone walk away from one of these that didn't then want to come back.
Yeah.
So, can I ask a question from online?
Please do.
Susie Silverman, our friend from New Jersey.
Oh, hey, Susie Silver.
She's from New Jersey. I have several insurance companies, HZN and UHC, that are now denying ID, now molecular testing, and other state practices seeing the same issue.
Yes,
I'm hearing yes.
we have a yes.
Any solutions to that?
We have a no.
Not yet.
Not
So
yet. Okay.
other people are seeing the issue, but not a solution quite yet.
Are other folks seeing the issue?
I'm sorry,
No.
Susie. I've got one more when you're ready.
I think you can go for it. Go
Okay.
for it.
So this one is from Erin Stevenson. She is from Pediatric Associates of Mount Carmel, from Ohio. I've been fighting Humana on a claim for weeks regarding a patient who was seen on 11/30/22 for a N94.4 and an N92.0. She was seen prior to this for the same diagnosis. We billed a 99214, and Humana continues to downcode to 99213 no matter what supporting documents I send. What else can I do for a reimbursement?
Somebody said, report them. I mean, yeah, and I mean, I don't want to give bad advice, but keep fighting the good fight, Jan, right? Here.
You're hoarding the microphone.
No, I'm not.
All the microphones. I had the same fear. So the down coding, this is appeal until you can appeal no more. Appeal until it goes to a medical director. Because there is just simply no excuse for someone that's not a clinician to tell your clinician how hard it was to treat a patient on a given day, no matter what the diagnosis. There could be extenuating circumstances. You probably documented all the reasons that you had to think twice about the medication that you gave. You had to gather more information and do a more detailed history to really be sure that the meds you were going to give them were safe. There's all kinds of reasons that you get a 214, and their pat answers that diagnosis doesn't match a 214 is a bunch of bunk. Yeah, the hassle factor form, if, I will see if I have the link handy. I'll put the hassle factor form in the chat. That is a great idea. Reach out to the AAP to get their help with negotiating that with that payer, yeah, especially if it's one of the major payers. They have good relationships with the bigger payers.
I was just going to add real quick on that. We had that with Aetna, and we actually had to have our provider, like themselves personally, write a letter specifying how much time and intensity went into the medical decision making within that claim, all of the records, the history, and we got the vast majority of them paid. The other ones we still didn't get. We reached out to the provider rep, and they were able to get us a few more for that.
Yeah, so in short, keep fighting, right?
I couldn't hear you.
I was going to say, in short, keep fighting.
Yeah, and one of the other tools that I learned about when I gave a talk with Dr. Craig earlier today was BCD Pediatrics puts the doctor's reasoning right in their notes. So they have the doctor choose from a drop-down why they chose the level that they did. And that gives the billers the ability to simply like take a screenshot and maybe get a little bit further and hopefully at least be able to create a letter the doctor can just sign so your doctors aren't also losing clinic time writing letters. Killing me.
Yeah. And then jumping really quickly back, Jan, Susie responded in the chat with a little bit more information regarding her question. Jan had asked what was the denial reason for the ID now molecular testing that Susie was having trouble getting paid for. And she said that they don't want it to be done in an office setting.
They should tell CLIA that. You know, like CLIA authorizes this stuff. There's no earthly reason that the payer should decide what services are appropriate for you to do in any given place of service. Absurd. I'm just going to get a big stamp that says absurd. Or no, I don't need the no button. What's that easy button?
The easy button that just says no.
Absurd.
Absurd. Yeah, and Aaron Stevenson responded, thank you. I'll try to do a letter from the doctor. I've enclosed medical notes, the spreadsheet regarding difference between 99213 and 99214, and appeal after appeal. So sorry that you're experiencing that, Aaron. Any questions? We're happy to talk about our stuff. We're also more than happy to keep going with questions. That's the other thing about the billing drop-in. For those of you who have been here for the first time, we jump around a lot because things come up as we keep going. Something clicks in your brain and you're like, oh, I did have a question. Yeah, for sure.
This is from Ronnie. And I'm going to say, Jan and Brian, ears forward. Say the diagnosis is acute bronchospasms and the patient had a NEB TX and the doctor reassessed the patient after the NEB TX. No time documented. Some of our providers think the level should be a 99214 because of the reassessment. Does the reassessment make the problem a higher level? The coders are seeing this as problem 3, data 3, risk 4.
It feels like a math equation that you get in school.
We're getting big sighs over here. We'll see what the big sighs say.
No, it was just a big sigh. I want very much to give answers, and I wish I had the note in front of me simultaneously. The time spent, the reassessment, what I hear in that question is the reassessment a reason to bump up the risk level? That depends. Was the reassessment that they got worse or got better? Yeah. So the risk, are you going to have to continue with more diagnostics? Are you going to have to increase the, is there a change to the nebulizer, the medication you're putting in the neb? So that's not quite enough information. I think I get the spirit of it, and I think this was a question that we ran out of time for answering this morning. And it's all to do with what's in the note. When you say no time was documented, the sound that happens in my head is wah wah. Like there's just to say that the reassessment might be what increases the risk is confusing to me. I don't think the time spent has a direct bearing on whether the diagnostics and treatment that you choose becomes more risky to the patient, which is what that risk determination is. So if you have more information, or if you can redact a note and text it to me. I can try to do that before the end of the hour. Otherwise, send that into support.pcc.com. I'll happily look at the details.
Sweet.
Support@pcc.com.
Support@pcc.com. Ronnie. Ronnie's calling in from home. It's like a late night talk show. Do we have any other? Yeah, we do. Look at that.
I'm Lindsay from Nova in Ohio. So if you were to update an insurance card in EHR, does it automatically update in partner or vice versa?
I almost never know the answers to these. Yes, there is one insurance policy record for the patient, and so no matter where you change the insurance policy for the patient, it's true on the dark side and in the EHR.
Okay, so changing the policy number does it on both things. If you critique the copay, it changes it in both places.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you do it in registration.
There you go.
One
Easy.
thing to keep in mind with that is timing of making those changes, right? So if you have, say, front desk making those policy changes, and they scan in a card, but they're busy and they've got a bunch of stuff going on, and then the doctor sees the patient, the doctor finishes their chart, says it's ready to go, and then a biller goes and posts those charges, it will be using the policy that is there at the time. So if you then try and send those charges out, like you run your submissions for the day, and the policy has been changed after you as a biller has charged them, you will get a scrubbing error saying that the policy you're trying to send is no longer an active policy because your front desk, after you posted the chargers, expired that old policy and put in a new one. So while those do stay in line between partner and the EHR, you can change them in either. You want to make sure on the timing that when you're posting the charges, then whoever is putting in those policies is doing it in a timely manner and has made those changes before you're touching it as a biller.
My short version of that would be, when you change a patient's policy, it changes it for stuff you post after you change their policy. And any charge posted before that has already been applied to an old plan. So you've got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Jenna.
We can have a refresher on how to do a missed appointment charge.
A refresher on missed appointment charges. There we go. Douglas's big day out.
Are you going to do the entire 6 workflows?
I'll just say how I would do it, and then someone else can say, no, not like that, Douglas. For administrate, so this is a missed appointment charge. You could either treat it like a charge on the encounter, or you could post it as an administrative encounter. Which one would you do? Would you hit the new encounter in the EHR? Would you?
I mean, first you would decide whose responsibility it is to mark them as missed, how you're going to get that information over to your billers, do all those things. So some offices will do things such as, I should probably be talking to them and not you. So some offices will do things like, instead of just canceling out the visit, right, and marking it as missed after the person isn't there, they'll actually make like an appointment type of missed appointment and reschedule it rather than cancel it, so it still shows up on the schedule, thus allowing the billers to see it and say, oh, I need to post this, I need to go into that account.
This way you can talk with your hands while you're holding the microphone.
Thanks, Jay. Then you can go into the account and go to the billing history, create a new encounter, and then you as a biller, after you've posted it, then you can go back to the, not the demographics, the medical summary, go, and you cancel the appointment after you know that you have it in there as a charge. Yeah, because the appointments would show up as missed appointment until you put it as missed and put your notes in. Thanks, Jay.
I'm coming. Here we are.
So, are there any other billers in here from Michigan?
No Michigan. Wah, wah.
Because I was going to ask, but this is to the reference to missed appointment charge. So we were told years ago, per our Medicaid rules, that we couldn't charge our Medicaid patients. So until we couldn't charge our other patients a missed appointment charge. So when we have a missed appointment, we don't charge any of our clients. So what we do is we have a policy that if you miss 3 appointments per family, you get booted. However, because we have pediatricians that have bleeding hearts and that are we waive that all the time. So I was just wondering if there are other Michigan, but there's nobody in here, so.
I'm checking online just to see if there's anyone online from Michigan.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, if anybody online has thoughts on Michigan missed appointment fees.
See, that's why I've been like, I wonder if that's changed, because seriously.
Is there any other state that's not allowed to charge non-Medicaid?
So folks here are saying that they can't charge Medicaid patients for services not rendered, and for anything, right? That wasn't, yeah, okay, yep. The only reason, and for folks who are here, the only reason that I'm gonna force everybody to talk into a microphone is so that the folks who are live can hear, or who are not live, the ones who are streaming in can hear. Yeah?
My question is there anyone here who doesn't charge non-Medicaid patients because they can't charge the Medicaid patients? So the situation over here is they don't charge anyone for a missed appointment fee because they can't charge the Medicaid patients. Anyone else have that situation? I'd check into that.
All right. Yeah. It's a lot of missed revenue. Yeah.
The other thing I would say is if your clinicians aren't prepared to follow through on that policy, they shouldn't have the policy.
Yeah.
Better that you not have a policy than that you violate it. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but there's my thinking.
No, but it should be said, right? Oh, we have an answer. Hold on. Let's see. I recognize Diane's name from our virtual drop-ins. We do not charge anyone either for missed appointments. Wouldn't be able to collect. We also have really tightened down on the number of missed appointments than we dismiss. So. And Diane, are you from Michigan, Diane? Or are you just chiming in? I actually don't know where Diane's from.
Actually, I'd like to point something out too
Oh,
with
here we
that
go.
as
Ben?
well. So with the Medicaid rules, right? Not only, no, it's okay, Jay. not only can you not charge, but like obviously you can't kick them out of your panel or anything like that. But if they are chronically missing appointments, you can report them to Medicaid to try and have them removed from your panel.
Yep, and Diane is from Michigan. So. Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
My question is, are we allowed to charge Medicaid patients like forms, like daycare forms and stuff like that, without getting in trouble?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just with the rain now, because we can hear the rain on the roof. Any extra chatter too? We just want to, so we can hear everybody.
Oh. Are we able to charge Medicaid patient for forms?
Anyone else in Texas charging Medicaid patients for forms? We'll check online as well. Well, you're nodding your head in the back like you are from Texas and doing that. But I want to hear what you have to say.
So I'm with PEDS 1, so we do lots of different states. So I've seen a lot of different variables in play. Mostly what we see is usually it's not something that's covered by Medicaid, you usually just have to have them sign a waiver or disclosure that they're aware that this is not covered by Medicaid and that they're agreeing to it. So my experience has been that you just have to have that documentation in place. So in the event that they call, because they can and they will call Medicaid and say, hey, I got charged this. And what we've done is we've just been able to provide that document to Medicaid and they say, okay, nope, you're good.
Got it. Nice. Sweet, thank you. Yeah, of course.
In Ohio, we have it on the forefront of our financial policy that all school forms, daycare forms, and any additional letters that people want, that they are private pay for that, and there is a dollar amount set that they sign for in their financial policy.
Also, one way to phrase that is that it's a convenience fee, right? Because if you have something like a shop form or a sport form or something like that, then shop form in general is completely available via the portal. You just like can log in and print it out yourself. You can ask for like a sport form and upload that onto the portal. So by them coming to you and asking for the convenience of you using your ink and your printer and your time to do that, then you're saying, yeah, what we're charging you for at this point is like something you already have available to you. We could just send this to you and you could take care of it. But because you're asking us to do it, that's what the charge is for. But yeah, I'd still put it all in your financial policy and make them sign all that.
Wonderful. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Let me check to see. I did a little hop skip.
Can I say a quick thing?
Yeah, please.
This is the fastest hour I've spent in the last 6 weeks or so. But yeah, we're done at 3:30, I believe, or 4:30 rather. I wanted to reassure folks that at least the obesity coding update, the coding guideline update, all of the information I would have shared is in the slides. So for the clinicians that have adapted to those new obesity guidelines, the treatment guidelines as of January, this is just. I had someone asked me to do a talk, and I said, okay, yeah, let me see what the implications are, what the opportunities are with the clinical updates. So those are there for you. Please find me if that gives you any questions. But these are really just for reference. I didn't want you to think we were racing past without addressing the promised content.
Yeah, so all of that content is on there. And again, as per usual, our support hours do not end when this class is over. You are allowed to send us questions any time of day. Email us. If you have somebody at PCC's phone number, sure, text them if they told you to text them. But yeah, reach out to support. We're happy to get things answered for you. So all of that, this is what I was Vanna Whiting. All of this stuff it's on there. It's on there. So do we have any, no new questions, just some thoughts. Keystone First, Pennsylvania Medicaid, there's a form to fill out for chronic missed appointments. In Maryland, you're not allowed to charge for forms. Pennsylvania Medicaid pays for the forms, so I think some states have different Medicaid rules, I think, in regards to forms. And more questions. I really skip back to a random slide. There you go. What questions do you have?
I have a question, which is, so we did at the beginning of this hour, we said, for how many of you is this your first billing drop-in? And there are a bunch of hands that raised. Will they come back? Have we been good enough? My question is, because we do this every month.
No, the question isn't if we were good enough. The
Well,
question is if community was.
Well, this is the thing. You answered each other's questions. About 90% of them are just you guys coming up with good answers. So that's also awesome. But we'd love you to come back. I'm putting in a plug, basically. I'm saying come back next month.
Yeah.
Oh, it goes to 4:45. We got a little extra time.
Yeah, and also, like, folks, and I'll cover this in housekeeping at the end, but all of these sessions, even the virtual ones, are recorded, and they are on our website. So if there are ones you want to go look at in the past that we've recorded, you absolutely can. You can share those with billers at your office, anything you want. If you can't be there in person, we'll have the recordings for you. So are there any of these pressing issues that we really want to make sure we cover? Is there something that like somebody's like, hey, I really need you to talk about Medicaid MCO pay and chase denial rules? Or if you guys want to see, we're happy to show you some stuff that's coming up. Jenna's shaking her head, yeah, I want to see that stuff coming up. Yes, we have Eva. She says she tries to attend monthly. Thank you, Eva. So it seems like folks want us to show you upcoming insurance payment stuff because we would love to get feedback on that. That's, no? We really just, I like put the carrot on a billboard and then was like, nope, just kidding. No, it's okay. But Kelsey is trying to tell me that the next billing drop-in, we will absolutely have that stuff ready for you. Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, if there any of these that stand out to you, or if you have more questions, question time is not over. Brenna? Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Medicaid disenrollment strategies. Who is planning on talking about Medicaid disenrollment strategies? Oh, there aren't slides for it. Who was going to talk about that?
Apologies. Yeah, I put it. I noted it as a possible discussion topic. I don't know that we would be advising, but just curious. At least in the room, no slight to our online viewers, but how many folks accept Medicaid patients? Okay, and so you're all dealing with the disenrollments, presumably to some degree. I was just reading earlier, I think on KFF, the continuous enrollment unwinding, they're tracking the disenrollments. I think they said there's just under 2 million disenrollments thus far, and varies greatly by state, and there's obviously situational, but clearly it's happening. And you had great question, I think, for the group is, what are you seeing, and what, if anything, have you had to do about it, and how can PCC help? I think would be really appreciated as well. Obviously we have eligibility verification. Hopefully we have eligibility verification available for your Medicaid and or MCOs. And if we don't, please let us know, because we'll try to get that enabled for you as soon as we can. But yeah, any thoughts on strategies on dealing with that? Love to hear what you're seeing and up against there. Yeah, more of a discussion, I guess. Obviously the AAP, I think Georgetown CCF, they have the great resources but in the end, it's a lot of state dependencies, and is your state doing ex-parte renewals or not, and so forth. So, yeah. Oh, sorry.
If somebody wants to pass a lapel down to Justin, that would be.
So what we're doing is we're just, when we're doing the benefits up front, we're just reminding the parents, right, that they're no longer eligible, and that they can do the self-pay. And some that can, do the self-pay, we just tell them we'll go ahead and re-enroll, and now it just seems like they're taking longer to go through the whole process. I mean, in Texas, it's like up to 30 days, and now they're taking up to 2-3 months to actually, get through the process. But we do try and let them know ahead of time before they even get to our office, and give them that option of self-pay and stuff like that.
I thought I saw another hand back here. Yeah.
So we're more on like the preventative side. So once we saw the information coming out that this was going to happen, we just contacted the provider and had a conversation of just strategy, how best to go about it. Ran reports for her, got all the patient names for anyone that could potentially, we went back like 3 years for anybody that could be potentially still affected by it, sent letters out, made phone calls just to proactively try to get a hold of them, put signs up in the office, and then as well as just moving the huddle sheet from being ran like the day before to putting it either 2 days out or 4 days, depending on where the weekend fell, just to make sure that we had time to let them know that this could potentially be an issue. And then that gives them time to reach out to the insurance company, and it's not while they're at the office or potentially canceling appointments at the time.
Does everyone know what the huddle sheet is? Raise your hand if you know what the huddle sheet is. Oh, there's some people who don't. Raise your hand if you don't know what the huddle sheet is. let me tell you what, there's 2 people raising their hands, but like 2 seconds ago, there were like 20 people not raising their hands. So do you know or do you not know? How many of you have custom billing huddle sheets? And we're to HUDDLE sheet, huddle sheet. Oh, you have one. You have one. You have one. Do one of you want to explain the purpose of the huddle sheet, or should we have a PCC or do that? I mean, yeah. Come get your mic, or use a microphone, Ben.
So the huddle sheet is in the EHR in the report library. It was originally designed more for like the clinical side of things, right? So you know, your nurses all get together in the morning and look over and say like, oh, here's the kids that are coming in and the reason that they're coming in and who has like chronic conditions and what do we need to look out for our providers. But because the huddle sheet has a lot of information it can report on, in fact, too much information, if you were to try and include everything you possibly could, you'd be running off a single page easily off to the side and the printout would look weird. So it can also be used for billers in the fact that it has information such as what your insurance policy is, if you have a personal balance that's owed to the practice, a place to put in notes. So if you use it from the context of a biller, if you look at that daily, then you can be aware at like the start of the day, especially if you have any kind of huddle with like your front desk and have any communication with them, like these are the people that you need to look out for because they owe money. Make sure you know you're collecting that before you even ask for your copay or let them back into the room or whatever, or reach out to them proactively to say, oh, hey, remember to bring in that HSA card and don't tell me, oh, it's in my husband's wallet when you get here, or whatever your excuse is going to be. So altering that huddle sheet for the purpose of what you all do daily can really help with collecting, you know, all the things that you need. You know, you can also, if you're running eligibility, put the notes on that too and like highlight and be like, this insurance isn't good anymore. Call them and find out what they have now, or do whatever you want to do with it. It's a nice printout to kind of get together as a group at the start of the day or the end of the day for the next day.
Wonderful. So we did figure out our technical difficulties. So we are happy to show you guys some new stuff coming up with insurance payments in the EHR. Manually posting insurance payments, not auto posting yet.
Right. So this is, yeah, so this is not the full demo of insurance payment tool, because that's what's going to be released really soon. I don't know if you folks have seen it or not, but we're actually adding, this is some little pieces of stuff that's already been made for the release after the one you're about to get. So you're about to get 9.7, and that's going to have the new insurance payment tool, and we're adding more functionality to that. And this is only a small little snippet of that functionality. The next bit is going to be the insurance takebacks in this tool. But let me just sort of show you like where, so you can see sort of where it's going.
For those of you who didn't just hear, Michael said we're going to do takebacks in the insurance payment tool. We're going to make it super easy.
Well, just for a little context though, we're going to go back to the payments tool, just to remind folks what we did with that. So here in the payments tool, we have a posting ribbon here where you can post payment. And after that we added a payment history tab. And that lets you do what I call ancillary workflows. You can do reversals and credits and printing receipts. So all these different functionality you can do that you can access from your payment tool. And then, let me just close out of here. Then we have our new insurance payment tool. What's frozen? On the stream. So you want me to unplug from the back here?
Folks at home. It's frozen for folks at home, so we're going to unplug and replug. Isn't it great when technology works? And folks at home, let us know if.
Can you see I'm moving the cursor. Da, 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 da. We'll sing along. Pardon?
We went to the tools menu and clicked insurance payments.
Yeah, I'll do that while we're waiting
And
for the
just
other thing to catch
again,
up.
as a reminder, y'all don't have this yet, but you're getting the insurance payments tool really soon, 9/7 in a couple weeks.
So this is for the folks that are here, the insurance payment tool. You can type in a claim ID, or you can type in a patient name, or you can just look up the last one that you picked. If you pick it by name, it's going to show you all the open encounters that are out there. And I guess if you haven't seen the insurance payment tool at all, you wouldn't realize this, but the history tab was not there before, and this is something that's coming out in the release after. And so this is something we did so that we can allow you to get to payments that have already been posted. Because if you want to do a take back, you actually have to find the payment that was actually already posted and then say, I want to take back that payment. And so that is the first part here. One of the other parts of that I want to show you is that we look up, I think it's Pebbles. I'll just type in Pebbles. Now, sometimes it's possible for a patient to have charges posted to more than one account. You could have had charges on, let's say, mom, and then it switched over to dad, or it was originally dad, and then it switched over to mom. And then charges could be living in both places. And so when that happens, well, first of all, on the insurance payment tool, you're going to see all the encounters that are outstanding from all the different accounts. So if some of those charges are on mom and some of them are on dad's account, it won't matter here. You're going to see them all. You don't have to press any special buttons. You'll see all the encounters there. But if you want to go to the payment history, you'll be able to jump to the payment history for Fred. In this case, I have a George Jetson. And so you can go to either one you want. One of the other changes that we've also made is that when you look at the payment history, the insurance payments and adjustments are going to be grouped together in one row. Because when you post an insurance payment and adjustment, they're sort of paired when you post them. And so we're going to show them to you paired. We've also done for the historical items, we're actually consolidating them, at least visually, because they actually get posted as individual payments. Like they'll post like 3 payments and 3 adjustments here. But what we're doing is we're consolidating them so they appear as like one total. So when you look at this $45, it could be representing multiple items. Let's find this big one here. And the reason why we're doing this is so that you don't see on your payment history 4 payments and 4 adjustments. That's 8 lines on your payment history when really you just want to access this one thing. And so the reason why we're doing this is so like when you have an insurance take back, we want to be able to say, hey, here's this whole thing. Let's talk about that payment and do a take back. So that's a minor thing. I mean, we don't have the take backs to show you yet.
Okay, so if you do a take back though, and you only want to take back one of those lines, will that be?
So you're talking about partials, right?
Yes.
Right. And so, well, the reason why you probably want to do partials is because of the onerous process right now of actually doing it in our system where you don't want to have to undo all those.
Well, like sometimes they will just take back one item, like, oh, we paid for this maternal depression screening and now we decided we don't want to, so we're taking just
they're changing one item.
Yes.
But the take back itself, actually, when they do that, the transaction is such that it takes back all the procedures. They're actually taking back the whole thing, and then you're reposting the whole thing. And so this is going to let you do that in a more fluid way than like what you're used to doing, which is the current process, like I said, is really onerous, where you have to do it for all the procedures and then repost for all the procedures. That's an onerous process. But we're going to be making it so it's overall easier. So what happens, we haven't shown you the whole process yet.
We just don't.
Huh?
It's like, we just don't. It's like, here's what's.
Right, well, you're looking at the
easy and
difference. I
clean,
understand.
and yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, when the information comes back, it's actually saying, we're taking back the whole transaction, and here's the new version of the transaction that you're doing.
Sweet. All right, we got some Thoughts over here. A PEDS 1 friend.
So doing it this way is going to make us now retract all 4 and repost all 4 if there's only one line item. And also, sometimes Blue Cross Blue Shield will do a take back because they said, oh, we paid you as primary, but guess what, we're really secondary, we want that money back. And Blue Cross Blue Shield takes money back in dribs and drabs, never as one whole thing. And so, you know, you have a take back and a bounce forward and a take back and a bounce forward, and you know, over the course of 2 months, they finally take the whole thing back. So we won't be, you know, it's little pieces, and that's how Blue Cross Blue Shield, I don't know why they do that in New York. So will we have to just continue to do that and partner?
I think one thing to make note of as well is a lot of this is basing off of how we're actually getting ERAs into our system for those takebacks. We would love to see examples of payers that give a single line item retraction on days of service, because just from our cursory look, and again, like we obviously want all the feedback from all of this and you guys to look and send us stuff. If you have ERAs that have them retracting just a single line item without doing any kind of interaction on the claim as a whole, please send those to us. As of now, we've only seen, even though they're only doing actual action on a single item or two, or you know, if it's a partial, they're only doing on some of the claim, they're still enacting full like removal of everything, and then they're paying back the exact same amount, which with this method would be okay then, because it's still doing the same process of take it out, put it back in. So that's with how we're treating it, is because there is actual action ERA-wise on everything for the whole claim. So it should still be quicker. Like I'm saying, like yes, you can do it individually. The process should still be quicker when compared to having to go in, do refund, apply that in OOPS, relink it, put a new payment in. So ideally, even with that.
One that is taking back and then it's balanced forward and taking back and balanced forward also.
Perfect, thank you. We appreciate that. Really, we really do. Thank you.
Because they, so say your kickback is $574, but the check is only $274. So they're gonna take back that $274 and the remaining still on there, and it was never reissued. So that's kind of what we're thinking, what we're talking about, is where there's not a payment back on that claim.
Yeah.
So how you wouldn't be able to do that in the EHR? You would still have to do that in partner.
So
Correct.
takebacks, I guess we're conflating two different things here. So we have takebacks, which is actually where they're taking the money back. The take-back isn't like, oh, they're taking back some and repaying some a different amount. They're two transactions. So there's a take-back, and then there's like another transaction that actually posts a new payment. And so I just want to be clear that, you know, so the first part we're doing is the take-back, and what's going to happen is the charges will then automatically just pen the insurance back again to whatever it should be. So then you could just jump over to the other tab and like repost in the numbers the way they should be. Gotcha. And so it's just going to be a different workflow. And so it's hard for me to show it to you because it's not right here. I'll be happy to show the designs, because sometimes I show designs before they're actually, you know, while they're just like pictures.
And we are going to wrap up because we're in our last couple minutes here.
Sorry.
So I'm going to steal this back from Michael just to do my
Thank you for looking at that.
Housekeeping. Becky, I'm sorry. Awesome. So I don't actually know how to get the slides back up on here. You got it, okay. Yeah, so basically, I know this by heart. I've done this a million times. We host a billing drop-in once a month virtually, and our marketing team usually sends out an email to everybody. If you have not gotten that email, or for some reason you want to be added to the list, or you want to make sure you're there, reach out to anyone at PCC. We'll make sure you get on that list. And what? Yep, I'm waiting on this one. That is something I don't have memorized. It's going to be a lot of slides. So our next billing drop-in is Wednesday, August 16th at 2 p.m. We try to make it different days of the week so that it's slightly more accessible for folks who maybe can't do one specific day of the week. And then we have one in September 14th. I can't believe that's coming up in 2 months. All of our recordings and materials are learn.pcc.com. Again, that's where we will post every recording of a billing drop-in with slides and any useful documents or links. Please join us. Yep, and yes, this is also housekeeping. This and all of the UC 2023 courses will be available for later viewing through the app.